women's streakers. Okay, Warrington take on Castleford down at the Halliwell Jones.
Yes.
They said the Menderhouse Jungle then. I've gone for a Warrington win on this one. They got a good result for themselves. Maybe not the best performance ever, but they're getting some good results going. And I think at the Halliwell Jones, Chrissy Sandow is looking good for them. They've got, if they can get off to a good start, then they might even win by more because they've been a bit slow starty. Castleford just didn't click last week, and I think that's going to have a detrimental impact on them as well. They're having a bit of a mini injury crisis, and as other people have alluded to, they don't have a tremendous amount of strength in depth. Warrington are on a bit of a crest of a wave at the minute, undefeated in the season so far. I see no reason why that won't continue. I've gone for 36 points to 18 victory in favour of the Wolves.
Yeah, I'm thinking very similarly. I mean, I wouldn't use injuries as an excuse, and I'm sure Darryl Powell won't be doing, but it does make it difficult getting his combinations together, and that showed with the, people saying Gale had his worst game for a while, some people saying Hampshire didn't contribute a whole great deal, shifting players around in positions they're unfamiliar with means all your links are kind of gone. So that, I think they're not going to be able to score the amount of points that they need to win. Both teams actually defend quite well, tackle at a high percentage, but Warrington score a lot from kicks anyway, so can break good tackling down by clever play. So I'm going to go with Warrington 32 points to 16.
There you go. Okay, Hull FC take on Wakefield, and it's a good time for my money if you're a Hull FC fan to play Wakefield. Absolutely woeful, all at sea in terms of everything at the club, in terms of structure, from management down to playing staff. If you want to pick yourselves up from a bit of a tricky performance against a team like Widnes, then there is no better opposition to be coming to the KC Stadium than Wakefield for me. I just think that Hull's pack are going to be able to overwhelm them, and they've got too many attacking outlets with guys like Talanoa and people like that.
Yeah,
just will rinse out Wakefield. Wakefield, I can't find a reason why they'd be able to get up for and win this game.
Tuma Varvey is going to have about 10 tackle busts and 180 metres in this game.
He's a dynamic running ball handling player, isn't he?
And on the other fringe, your boy Sika Manu is probably going to have damaging statistics as well. 28 points to 10, just because I don't think Hull are playing that well.
Yeah, but I said 36 points to 12 for that exact reason.
Yeah,
I think against another team you could be looking at 45, 46, 48 plus.
Yeah.
But I'll credit
28-10 I'm going,
There you go. Okay, so Leeds take on St Helens down at Headingley Mark, and it's an important game for both teams. Leeds will be looking to build something or get something started this season in front of a vociferous home crowd. St Helens, patchy at times to start with this season, but a fluid performance against Wakefield leads me to think that this is going to be an away win. I just don't see confidence in this Leeds side at the moment. I think they are struggling to get things clicking in the pack in a way that they didn't do last season. There's been a lot of changes. And St Helens are getting players back in their own form. James Roby drives that team forward. He'll be bang up for a game against a new hooker like Bo Falloon or something like that. He'll want to come out on top there. And they just seem to be getting the ball into scoring positions better than Leeds do at the moment for me. So, a close win, but St Helens for me.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the home side. I think they're a good enough team to beat a St Helens team that aren't brilliant. It's all going to come down to the pack, really, because Saints have lost one of the strike weapons. Leeds have strike weapons who are out of form at the moment, but it only takes a couple of chances for Ryan Hall, Callum Watkins, to score tries, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They will click again at some point, as Zach Hardacre maybe needs to get himself involved more as a running threat than trying to link play and trying to be the kicker. But he's trying to show leadership, and I just think it's not helping necessarily.
But he's having to show leadership as much as anything else because people like Maguire aren't there, and obviously Sinfield's gone.
But what you're hoping
he's a senior player in that
with Falloon and JJB with a game under the belt, they might have some more fitness. You never know, someone else might come back in. And they've got the first choice front row, so they can start to use it. Like I say, Falloon maybe has got a bit more match fitness now. That will allow them to compete better in the middle than they did last week. And all it needs is for a couple of their hot, Top Gun players for it to come off. and they will be difficult to beat because they aren't conceding tons and tons of points in their home games.
No.
And with the South stand behind them, I'm going to back them. 20 points to 16, though. I think it's going to be thrilling, but I don't think it's going to be high quality.
Yeah.
Of course, if they fall knackered like they did against Wigan, then James Roby's going to have an absolute field day, and Saints are going to win by 12, and Roby's going to score 2 tries. But we'll see how it goes.
Okay, Huddersfield take on the Catalan Dragons Giant at the John Smiths. They've gone for a slender Huddersfield Giants win. I think they're starting to get bodies back now, the Giants, and Danny Brough, like you say, marshals them around the field very, very well. Catalan Dragons, they are just... I mean, it's Wally Frogmore who said it, so I won't take credit for it, but they are just potential personified, aren't they? They're not living up to it in any...
Yeah, I think Diane
senses at certain points.
Missed his point on that one a little bit with the...
I do as well.
With what was said there. Basically, that they'll never fulfil it because they don't have... He was backing up Diane with the whole team don't have the attitude.
It's not action, that's the problem.
But Dave Taylor is that, and signings like that demonstrate.
That extends to the whole team for me at the moment, though. And I just don't see them coming over to Huddersfield and getting a result. I just don't see them, if they can't do it at home, I don't see them travelling well again this year, so I think a lot of the time I'll probably end up picking against them when they are on the road, and Huddersfield should be buoyed by that performance against Hull KR that gets them off the mark, gets them started. I'm going for an 18 points to 12 win in favour of the Giants.
What Huddersfield were able to do this weekend was put more players in the positions that they're more accustomed to playing in, and have half-backs, have prop forwards, have edge players who can run and pass, and I think they have more players in their rightful positions, and that had a big effect on helping them win the game, and it will help them again this week, and for similar reasons about uninspired by Catalan. The only thing is, always with Huddersfield on these Sunday kickoffs, there's always a little feeling in the back of my mind that they might just be...
You said this last week, they absolutely bummed Hull KR. So.
Yeah, but they weren't doing it at half time.
But they were in the... Yeah, okay, fair enough. I'm not going to get into an argument with you about it.
No, but they weren't until Hull KR lost Campese and lost any sense of tackling around the ruck.
I'll give you that. Hat-trick for Jordan Tansey as well, by the way.
In this game?
Yeah, why not?
so all 3 tries will be Jordan Tansey?
Exactly, yes.
Right, okay.
Carrying them home.
I'm going 30 points to 18 in favour of Huddersfield. I think both sides have a bit more scoring in than you've suggested, but... Yeah, I think Huddersfield will hold on to it.
A scrappy affair that no one particularly cares about until the last 20 minutes. Okay, final game of the weekend sees Hull KR take on Salford. Hull KR will be desperate to get a win, but I just can't see it happening against this Salford side.
It's the only away win that I'm pegging. Salford are playing really well. They're physically dominant, something that Hull KR certainly aren't.
Yeah.
And I think that's the up and down of it. Obviously, there's a question mark around selection, but even if they just have to put O'Brien into the halves and Eccles at fullback, it's not like a problem.
No. No, it's not at all. I've gone for a 20 points to 12 victory in favour of Salford. I'm keeping the score fairly close as a gesture of goodwill to our friends at OKR. But
I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but if it keeps on the upturn it's been on recently, then there's going to be more points than that, because the wind won't be blowing the ball out of the pitch.
I believe it's nice through the week and then it's shabby at the weekend.
36 points to 22 I've gone with in favour of Salford.
Okay, but of course, if you're at a game this weekend and want to know what's going on elsewhere, our friends at SL Clubs will have you covered if you follow them on Twitter. What stands out in the NRL for you this week, Marcus?
Well, we haven't got any Championship in League One, but we've got the Challenge Cup. I don't know if there was any Challenge Cup you wanted to talk about other than Feb Lions against Loch Lane.
I think that's the most... It's not the glamour tie, but it's the most exciting one.
Yeah.
Definitely. I have a bit of a...
Bradford against Dewsbury.
Bradford against Dewsbury on Friday night, yeah, that's probably one of the ties of the round, and we're going to need to be on good form to see off Dewsbury. It would be a crying shame not to progress in the Cup.
A few of the other amateur sides have got toughish kind of ties.
Yeah, you'd think it's good to see that there'll be an amateur side into the fifth round, but I don't think you're going to see a lot of them go through. I think everything should... I mean, it should all just go according to plan, really, from looking at the draw.
In terms of getting your reviews in for next week's games, listeners, I've thrown a few selected Challenge Cup ties onto the form, but by all means use the other option and write the name of the game that you've been to, and that works just fine as well.
And if by broad coincidence someone who's listening to this goes to the Fev Lions Castleford Loch Lane game for whatever reason,
Tyler will be there.
Get in touch with us and tell us how the game went, because we'd be delighted to hear and make a bit of a fuss about it, wouldn't we?
Yeah, and all the Challenge Cup games, to be completely honest. Like we always say, our aim is to have a review from a fan who's been at every single game. Not the same fan, but from a fan of, from every single game we want a fan review sent in, basically, would be the aim. Someone who's been at the game, watched the game, experienced the game in the flesh. That's what we want, and that's the aim of this podcast for this year. That's my, crusade. But we're never going to see it, unfortunately.
Oh, don't do that.
Well,
Don't be you.
Well, we need the listeners.
Don't be sidekick.
To back me then, don't
be
we?
the enthusiastic, larger-than-life character that you will have to be eventually. That's what happens to sidekicks. They take on the role of their whatever. I don't know what the...
I'm fucked then, aren't I?
Yeah, like Robin.
Better off as I am.
Robin becomes Batman and all that jazz, mate.
Much better off as I am.
You're quite a lot better off, yeah. It's hard work being this funny all the time.
NRL picks. Then Tom, Bulldogs against Eels on Friday, obviously. Jammers doing it all big style there, but the Eels had a good win last week. Panthers against the Broncos on Saturday. We're hoping... the Panthers have been in some competitive games so far, so... you'd hope them at home at Pepper Stadium would be more of the same. Broncos will have Jack Reed and hopefully Greg Eden in the lineup. And then on Sunday, I don't think this game is going to be close, although the Dragons do tend to defend better on the home patch. But the Dragons against the Rabbitohs, just because plenty of English.
There's a lot of English on display.
Widdup, Cooper, Burgess and Burgess.
There you go.
I think Tom is still banned until round 4, though.
Naughty boy, Tom.
Yeah.
Okay, that's your Super League pod for the week. All that remains for us to do is to wrap up the show. Okay, so episode 92 of the Super League pod is in the bag. We're getting ever closer to being ton up. It's been another great show, Mark, and as per usual, SLP recommends. I'm going to start with my recommendation, because we've been talking off mic. You did point out to me that at the point that anybody downloads this podcast, Steak and BJ Day will have gone. So this week I recommend that we all bear it in mind for 2017. 14th of March, Steak and BJ Day. State your claim, boys. That's my recommend.
Brilliant.
I'm sorry, do you want to tell us about Gazok's autobiography for the third week out of 4?
No, I haven't gone back into it yet. I haven't felt.
Is there a dot to dot halfway through it
to review it,
or a sticker page?
Another time. I've actually not been reading at all this week, even though the new 40/20 landed through my door at the weekend. This one is for you. Like, why are you talking about it now, 7 years late? But I've just started watching...
Oh, is this a stitch up?
No, I started watching The Walking Dead on Sky Box sets. And I'm just towards the back end of season 1 at the moment. Right. And enjoying it.
You've got to power through season 2 a little bit.
Have you?
You've got to power through it. It's totally worth it.
Right, okay.
Season 2 is weak.
Fair enough.
By comparison to season 1, but then it just escalates into being phenomenal again.
Well, we'll look forward to that.
Pretty sharpish, yeah. Fantastic, Walking Dead. Well, actually, when you go home tonight, I've got episode... Because they do with these weird mid-season breaks now, but we're up to like series 6 or 7 now. They're showing them like the day after they appear in America, so when you go home, that's what I'll be doing, is like the other end of that scale.
Yeah.
For Walking Dead. So I won't talk to you about much of it then.
I'm well aware that, there's massive spoilers out there if I want them.
Oh, you could basically Wikipedia the whole thing and just watch the next episode.
I'm late to the party, but it's going. It's a good party so far.
In fact, if you're talking about things that are available to download on Sky Box sets, I'll give you another recommend. If you don't watch or know about we will know about Game of Thrones, but they've got all 5 series up on Sky Box set at the minute, and if it's something that you've not seen, give Game of Thrones a run out.
Oh, if we're doing our Sky Box set, I would tell everyone to watch Fortitude. That is class.
That's
it's
the
Sky original.
Yes, that's the one that's set up in the middle of nowhere, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. On sort of a fictional island up Iceland way, I guess.
Iceland way.
But yeah, I'd recommend that, definitely. That was a brilliant series.
Right, so what have we got? Steaks, oral sex, The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones and Fortitude. That's not a bad night in that, really, is it?
I would recommend having having the BJ first, then watching the television, then having the steak.
I would suggest
I
combining.
think all the things we spoke about would throw up enough